Hello, I'm Brigitte Parvin, and this is your weekly video vlog. And I'm so happy to tune in with you this week. Thank you for joining me. And this week I have been guided to share about detachment. And what does that look like? Well, oftentimes detachment is the best thing that you could do for yourself for self-care and self-love. And just keep in mind that when you do that, for the people who you're practicing it with, it may not run over very smoothly, and that's okay. And one of the things that I love so much about detachment is if a situation is kind of chaotic and then leading into drama, which when I was new in recovery, I did not know that there was something wrong with drama, and I was actually like your drama queen, believe it or not. Everything was a crisis. The sky was falling constantly, and every little tiny little situation that was going on was so huge that I could not even see the trees through the forest or the forest through the trees. It was just like I would focus in on that, my adrenaline would get going, and in addition to that, I just could not get out of fixating with what was going on. It's like my head was in this wrapped around it, and it was really hard for me to learn the process and challenging of learning how to let go and allowing things to unfold naturally. One of the things I had to take a look at was review the situations that I would put myself in. Normally, I was around situations where there were high levels of chaos, lots and lots of drama, lots of danger, and lots of action. And I did not know that this was something that would run through my veins, and it was almost like a drug itself. The adrenaline would get going, and I did not know how to operate without being on this frenzy of being in this moment. And so what I also did discover was that there's some very unhealthy aspects of it that were not for my best interest. I would feel exhausted, just mentally, spiritually, and emotionally exhausted after these episodes, and it would almost be like a hangover. I literally had felt like I had been hit by a bus and just went the course of the whole thing, and then the next day it was on again. And so what I ended up doing was, instead of engaging and being a participant in these activities, I learned how to step back and be an observer, start to learn on a scale of 1 to 10 how bad the situation really was. And normally, like I said, it wasn't that bad, but I did not know how to separate the truth from the false with it. And so everything was big, everything was gigantic. It was kind of like constantly watching Fox 40 News, if you get what I mean. and so in that, what I was able to recognize through journaling. Journaling was a big tool for me. I would call my mentor and explain to her, notice I said explain, not share, explain to her a situation that would happen, and she would end up saying, Brigitte, this is unhealthy for you, this is unhealthy for me. I need you to write about it and then call me back. So then I would end up writing about it, and as I'm writing about it, I'm going, whoa, this is pretty intense here. This is a lot more bigger than it needs to be. And the reality of it started being put in its true perspective. Then on a spiritual base, I was able to see, were these my emotions? Was I being emotionally driven, or was I being spiritually driven? And when I was in the chaos, I was being emotionally driven, just kind of it going wherever the next drama thing was. And then spiritually driven, I got to learn how to detach from those situations, not be around the frenzy, not be around high drama people. My life started to get more serenity in it. There started to be more peace. And it's not to say that I amputated those people, places, things, relationships out of my life. I became more of an observer and started bringing spiritual principles and spiritual practices to those situations versus jumping in with the cape and, all here I am, I'll rescue, I'll save the day, and know that when I did put that cape on and jumped and plunged right in the middle of it, that what I was doing was I was running interference, and I was standing between that person and their soul journey and of their creator, blocking the sunlight of the spirit. And when I observed this, and knowing that I do not have to save the world, I was able to have more peace, wholeness, and serenity in my life, and that is such a beautiful gift. That peace of mind is a nugget in itself. And so just know, and if a situation feels uncomfortable, it is. If a situation feels crazy, I got news, it is. These are the kind of things that were fed to me, spoon-fed to me. And it was kind of like little by little lights would go off. And I didn't even know all of that wasn't normal. And so piece by piece, when I started picking up the tools, the spiritual tools, I was able to see more clearly and know that something was wrong, and to trust that and allow myself to be able to detach with love, not hatred, and not amputating anything, but detach with love and still be available, but in another capacity. And that is a huge, huge difference. That made my life so much easier and continues to make my life so much easier. Now, I do need to say something. It is tempting because it's always like this nugget, like this morsel that feels so juicy and so invited to get involved or get captivated or swept away by this. But I just know for my health and wholeness that it is not best for me, and my angels now today will say, warning, warning, something's wrong, don't go in this direction. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt to follow those messages today. And before, I used to go, no, it's okay, I got this. And believe me, after doing that so much and hitting a rock bottom with it, knowing now today what I know then, it was one of the biggest opportunities for growth. And also what I've learned is the best thing that I could do is in a loving way when I'm invited to that. It's kind of like you could get a ticket on a crazy bus is what was explained to me, but it doesn't mean you have to get on the bus, Bridget. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that's all good. So I get it more clearly today. And in that, when I recognize that it's not as if I'm shutting my eyes to it completely, I will send great love, prayers, good vibes, just thinking good thoughts going towards the situation or that person. And I know that being in alignment with that is far greater good than I can ever do with running interference into somebody's life. So there is a difference between detachment and dispassion. Dispassion is where it has nothing absolutely to do with me, where it is someone else's journey and just not to get involved in it. Detachment is where I would have a tendency to get involved or get invited to get involved. And so I would love to hear what you do for your self-care and for your detachment in situations, and how you stay and practice being drama-free in your life. So please join me and in the comments below this video and let me know. And remember that we're walking shoulder to shoulder on this journey, and I'm so happy that you're here with me. And I'll keep you posted on the upcoming book that Doreen and I wrote called How to Get Your Life Back. So excited about this book and all the tools, the stories, and the beauty and the divine intervention that is interwoven in this gift. And our planet's ready for it, and I just can't wait to share it with you all. So please share this with your friends. Your support and love is very appreciated, and I cannot thank you enough, and just thank you so much for being here. So sending you lots of love from Brigitte's Serenity Studio in Auburn, California. Bye-bye.